Welcome to Twin Peaks Radio, the show where we remember, in the words of Major Garland Briggs, a real mystery can't be solved. Not completely. It's always just out of reach, like a light around the corner. You might catch a glimpse of what it reveals, feel its warmth, but you can't know the heart of it. Not really. That's what gives it value. It can't be cracked. It's bigger than you and me, bigger than everything we know. I'm Professor Robert E.G. Black, and, speaking of Garland Briggs, I got distracted today. I was going to continue on into the pilot, and I started watching from the beginning to catch back up to where I was. I'm only 10 minutes in, 9 minutes in, and I noticed props, set dressing, things I didn't comment on before, I don't think. And I don't mean the Captain Crunch box that seems like product placement. I mean after the live birds we've seen at the beginning of the episode, there's some sort of statue of a bird in the window in the kitchen at the Palmer house. And then in Laura's room, she's got, I guess it's a goose? A stuffed goose on the floor. So another bird that isn't a bird. And then we get to the Briggs kitchen after Sarah calls them. And hanging over their stove, we got a little square, I don't know if it's cloth or tile, but it's a chicken. And a pot holder that has 3 swans on it. More birds. And 3 makes sense because that's how many Briggs there are. And then I noticed that the cover the Briggs have on their toaster has a picture of a toaster on it, which is weird. But then I get distracted really by the magnets on their fridge. 2 silhouettes. One looks like a nun. I assume it's a Virgin Mary because I've previously suggested the statue by their phone might be a saint or one of the 3 magi. But it's the second silhouette on the fridge that's weird. Definitely doesn't come from the same set. It's got a round head with ears sticking out. I mean, it could be some sort of hat, but looks like a round head with ears sticking out. I was talking to 12 Rainbow Trout on Instagram, Vinny Guerrera, and he hasn't looked into these props yet, but he was wondering about the statue. And I'm like, here's what I decided it might be. And so he's going to look up that. He's got great Instagram with prop identification that I would be going to. Because I feel like the thing I can bring to this show that other Twin Peaks podcasts might not be is dealing not necessarily with text or even subtext all the time, but background. The weird things you don't notice. Things that might mean something, might not. But they're interesting just to find out. And this one, it looks like Charlie Brown as an adult, possibly wearing a dress, and holding a weapon. At first I didn't think it looked like a weapon, because I didn't see the small bump behind him. It's like the handle sticking out. It's like he's holding a bat. At first I thought he had an erection.
Nothing to be frightened about. Ag!
And I'm like, that's something.
Good grief.
That's a choice. Vinny suggests these might be from some nativity scene. So I looked up some nativity magnet silhouette sets. Because these are just silhouettes. And the style did seem to fit. Except for that big ass head. I'm wondering if this is something more specific. Is this a comic strip character? It almost could be Popeye, except I don't know what he's holding then. Popeye doesn't really carry weapons, plus he doesn't wear a dress. The legs go together a bit much and are spread out at the bottom like this could be someone from a nativity scene, wearing robes. I don't know. And I'm distracted. And I know in about 10 seconds more of show from where I left off, a handful of episodes ago, I'm about to go over to the diner and meet a whole bunch of new characters, and that seemed like a lot this week. So, nice quick episode. Charlie Brown and the Virgin Mary are hanging out. That's all I got for you. And there's birds all over the place. Souls. Why are Charlie Brown and the Virgin Mary hanging out? Why does he have a bat? Is that Leland and Sarah? Remember, in the words of Major Garland Briggs, who's sitting over there in that chair to the right of my screen right now. And he didn't seem surprised by the phone call. Just putting that out there. Mystery is the most essential ingredient of life. Mystery creates wonder, which leads to curiosity, which in turn provides the ground for our desire to understand who and what we truly are. This has been a production of Lemming Drops Studio. You can find links to more at lemmingdrops.com. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or join the Facebook group Lemming Drops Studio Tour. You can support all my shows at patreon.com/lemmingdrops. The owls may not be what they seem, but they still serve an imperative function. They remind us to look into the darkness.